And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Hello, I'm National Weather Service meteorologist Peter Chan with your Alaska Aviation Weather Outlook on this Sunday, October 13th, and the outlook will be for early in the week on Monday and Tuesday. We start out, though, this Sunday morning. Low pressure is located just southeast of Kodiak Island, and this low was quite a powerhouse. It still is creating some strong gusty winds along areas of the west coast, eastern Bering across the eastern Aleutians, and lower portion of the Alaska Peninsula. And that low is just going to gradually fill and weaken and work its way eastward just south of the Gulf as we go through Tuesday and then eventually Wednesday over toward Haida Gwaii and the British Columbia coast. In the meantime, we've had moisture come northward in the form of snow, and through this Sunday we expect snow to continue, especially areas of the Brooks Range North Slope along the Arctic coast. Several inches falling. We still have winter storm warnings in effect for this area into early pre-dawn Monday morning. By the time we get into Monday, the low will be situated here southeast of Kodiak Island, just southwest of the Gulf. There could be a few thunderstorms pop up with that system. There's enough instability with some colder air aloft and just the dynamics of the system. MVFR conditions are likely from the Panhandle Monday morning all the way up through the Copper River Basin around Prince William Sound. West arm of Central Alaska Range up into the interior, we will find lower ceilings and IFR conditions. Still some pockets of lingering snow or snow showers possible there. The steadier heavier accumulating snow up across this region. We have a low way out toward the far western Aleutians with a frontal system, not an especially strong system, but it will have some IFR conditions out that way into the western half of the Aleutians going into Monday afternoon. Still could be an isolated flash of lightning, rumble of thunder just off of the coast there of the Panhandle for Monday afternoon, and we find the areas of precipitation, the snow in the north, beginning to decrease in coverage as we go through Monday morning and afternoon. I think the bulk of the accumulating snow will be yet this Sunday night. And then by the time we get into Tuesday, we still have some IFR conditions, lower ceilings associated here out in areas along the Alcan border back toward the Alaska Range, as well as up here in through the North Slope. And by Tuesday, another weather feature that's going to start to emerge on the map is a low pressure and cold front coming in off the Russian Arctic coast. This is going to bring by Tuesday afternoon and evening accumulating snow, some blowing, drifting snow to areas of the northwest coast between Point Hope and Utqiagvik. So keep that in mind for later Tuesday into Wednesday morning. And eventually that system is going to cause some areas of snow and snow showers, colder air to overspread the northern central mainland, pushing all the way down toward the southeast mainland by the time we get later in the week, later Thursday and into early Friday. The other low pressure that's way out in the western Aleutians will just kind of push on through eastward and probably ride up just south of the Gulf as we go through the end of the week. At this point, not becoming a major system. So I think just a trend toward colder temperatures overspreading the mainland from northwest to southeast in the week ahead. And at this point, we don't have any major lows like this current one that's winding down in the Gulf. By Tuesday afternoon, there it is. You see the IFR conditions with the lower ceilings and visibilities associated with snow and snow showers. This will be accumulating snow and some blowing snow as well, so I would anticipate at some point could be some advisories or warnings for this area Tuesday afternoon through Tuesday night, and all that will be spreading southeastward across the central interior going into Wednesday and further southeastward by Thursday. So we start out past conditions Monday. IFR still across the North Slope, especially in the morning. Anatuvik Pass should be still IFR conditions. MVFR as you fly south of the south entrance. Same thing, Adigan Pass. Adigan Pass itself and to the north across the North Slope, IFR conditions prevail Monday with MVFR conditions to the south. Lake Clark and Merrill may start out IFR Monday morning, giving way to MVFR conditions. Things starting to improve along the Alaska Range, but it'll be slow along the West Arm Central areas. Rainy Pass, IFR Monday, same thing, Windy Pass likely holding on to IFR conditions. Isabel Pass should try to become VFR. MVFR early, VFR for the afternoon. Mentasta Pass, generally VFR conditions on Monday. South of the south entrance, MVFR conditions. Tanita Pass, MVFR conditions early, giving way to VFR conditions. And then portage, generally holding on to MVFR conditions there down around that area, Prince William Sound. And in the far northern parts of the Panhandle, we're looking at Chilkoot and White with MVFR conditions on Monday. So overall, we find a broader troughiness and colder air in place through much of the mainland and out over the northern central Bering Sea. We've had the low that's still sitting here. So the circulation on the backside has allowed for at least 3 days of northerly flow drawing down colder air across the west side of the state and in through the Bering. Ahead of it, higher freezing levels aloft, 8,000 feet there over central Canada, falling back though as we get back toward Yukon territory. And with the associated precipitation still lagging and the cloud cover that's around Monday, we could find some moderate icing above 3,000 feet here up through the upper half of the Yukon Valley in the central northeastern interior up into the Yukon Flats. Also still some icing above 1,000 feet in the lower ceilings that are in place with lingering areas of snow and lower clouds there across the north slope. In the southeast, some lingering rain showers and clouds there. Get above those precipitation producing clouds above 4,000 feet into the heart of them. 6,000 feet here northern central down into the southern portions of the Panhandle. You might encounter some moderate icing. And then with the low pressure way out here out in the western Aleutians in the front pushing eastward, generally above 6,000 feet, there's the potential for some moderate icing on Monday. So we have the low pressure or a trough situated here over the Gulf, North Pacific, broad circulation. Look at this thing. 120 knot jet max coming onshore south of Vancouver Island up toward the Washington State coastline. Along western areas of the mainland and the far eastern Bering across the eastern Aleutians, tip of the Alaska Peninsula, we still have a broad northerly flow. There's the low circulation just southeast there of Kodiak Island, mid-levels. This is at 9,000 feet, 700 millibars. And then at 3,000 feet, the low circulation still there just to the southeast of Kodiak Island. And we find there still could be pockets of some gustier winds in areas of the Panhandle, mainly coming up out of the southwest. But on the backside, we still have north to northeast winds, a little bit of offshore flow in areas of the southwest coast. And then with the frontal system way back out here in the western Aleutians and the low there, we find ahead of it southerly flow as high as 30, 40 knots in through the central Aleutian. So where's the greatest threat for some turbulence? Areas of the eastern Aleutians, surface to 4,000 feet, there could be some moderate turbulence. Isolated moderate turbulence will be possible in areas along the northeastern Gulf Coast and along the Panhandle, surface to 6,000 feet. Perhaps Kaktovik area along the Arctic coastline, surface to 3,000 feet, and then also back out here along the Bering Strait, St. Lawrence Island, north side of Nunavik Island back towards St. Paul. We could see some isolated moderate turbulence, surface to 3,000 or 4,000 feet on Monday.